Welcome in. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, Robert Saleh gave a press conference today. He talked about Jeremy Ruckert getting more playing time, the conditions around the Michael Carter release, and everything going into the Aaron Rodgers potential return at some point this season. So let's hop into the first clip where he discusses Jeremy Ruckert.
Is that one where, you have Jeremy, a younger guy, is that one where Jeremy might start getting more and more and more involved in the offense as he kind of phase out CJ a little bit, or?
We've got three really good tight ends. Jeremy's been playing very well. He deserves to play a little bit more. Conklin's been having a really nice season. He's been doing a great job. And so when you look at the play balance of it all, you're talking about 5 or 10 plays swung in either direction with regards to Ruckert and Conklin. And yeah, Ruckert deserves to get some more action, and it's something that we're looking at.
So this move has Jet fans all sorts of excited because Jeremy Ruckert is a hometown kid. We're adding Izzy Abakananda, a running back who's from Brooklyn, a hometown kid. Now we're getting a little more reps out of Jeremy Ruckert, the hometown kid. So I really like this. He's balled out from a blocking perspective. He's really done well in the receiving game. He's got some great hands, but we haven't seen enough reps from him. So I'm curious to see how much they're going to give to Conklin, how much they're going to give to Ruckert when they try to whittle back some of CJ Uzama's reps. And I like CJ from a leadership perspective, but dude's got to sit his ass on the bench. He has had way too many critical penalties or critical drops in key moments over the course of this season. And look, I'm just happy we're getting Jeremy Ruckert back. The other thing we got to find out is that Kenny Yeboah is back on the practice squad. Green Bean's all sorts of pumped for this one. I know he's looking forward to it. So we get to see a little bit more action. Maybe at some point Uzama actually gets deactivated and, Yeboah gets brought up onto the active roster at some point. We'll see and have to keep an eye on that. But I'm happy that Jeremy Ruckert is coming in. We're seeing a little bit more here. The other thing we got to hear is a little bit more about the Michael Carter release yesterday. This coming from Robert Saleh by way of Rich Samini. Saleh says Carter has been frustrated over the years because of the lack of opportunities, but still felt Carter was a good teammate. So the Jets decided to cut him loose to benefit him. Though it hurts the running back depth, Saleh acknowledges the risk, but wanted to do right by the player. So Saleh has always been really good about doing this kind of thing in terms of having the players back and not throwing them under the bus. He's doing it right now for Zach Wilson. He's doing it for a lot of other players on this team that probably deserve a little bit more blame. He's doing it for Nathaniel Hackett, who definitely needs a little bit of blame from an offensive coordinator perspective. And not to mention the Jets and Joe Douglas. They did this with, I believe it was Avery Williamson. They did it with McClendon. They send, players that are a little bit more veteran status, guys that, either they take into account where they want to be traded or they release them so that way they can go out and have a better opportunity. Le'Veon Bell, we did that with him at one point under Joe Douglas's watch as well. So Michael Carter, I don't think it's a bad move from Joe Douglas. I think he was probably the weakest of the running backs to begin with. And honestly, if he's going to be dropping passes and causing penalties and causing more negative things to have happen, and you're going to see Breece Hall more on the field now, and you're going to see Izzy a little bit more. You're probably going to see Cook a little bit more. His percentages are going to get all distributed across those three running backs. I'm okay with it. I hope and, wish Michael Carter the best. He was a really good teammate, but his frustration stems from a lack of production on his own side of things. So I'm not too beat up over that. The last thing we get to talk about is a little Aaron Rodgers news, and Robert Saleh was asked what happens when the doctors try to clear Aaron Rodgers.
Is it as simple as if the doctors say he's healthy, you say, all right, he's a quarterback, or do you go, hey, he's 40 years old, coming off Achilles, we have to, whatever the record is then, we have to evaluate and think about, as you say, globally. Right?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's but at the same time, Aaron's a big boy, grown man. And no one's going to know Aaron's body like Aaron knows his body. And if he feels, after all the doctors clear him, and I'm sure there's a million of them, I have no idea on that stuff. But if Aaron says he wants to play, he's going to play.
So Aaron Rodgers is a big boy. If he wants to play, he gets to play. If the doctors clear him, then he's going to go. And I think that makes all the sense in the world. You're not going to tell your four-time MVP quarterback that you traded all these assets to go get, and the whole season was structured around him, that he's not going to be allowed to play if he himself wants to play after the doctors were cleared. So Robert Saleh has already said multiple times across multiple interviews that he's not a doctor. how many times have we been asked the injury question from Robert Saleh or towards Robert Saleh, and you get like, oh, we think he's going to be all right, and then the guy's out for the season, and then you get the, oh, he's out for the season, and then he comes back in like 3 weeks. Like, clearly Robert Saleh is not really the best person to ask about the injury front, but from a are you going to play? This is an interesting conversation because now you have to get into this whole side of things of, all right, is the season lost by the time Aaron Rodgers is coming back? And if it is, does it make any sort of sense to forego maybe the rest of the season to not put the 2024 season in jeopardy? Because the only thing that could be worse than losing Aaron Rodgers for 2023 is losing Aaron Rodgers for 2024. I'm not going through this again. I want to see our quarterback on the field for 2024. So I really hope that we are in a position where we want to bring back Aaron Rodgers, but I can't envision a situation where the Jets go out and let's say they lose against Buffalo, they lose against Miami, and you're heading into December. I would say there's a strong likelihood that Rodgers will not come back if you are mathematically eliminated or if there is a far, far out shot. Like, I think the Jets need to be able to control their own destiny, which right now we kind of do because the best path for the Jets to get to the playoffs is going to be through the division. We have 2 games against Miami, game against the Patriots, game against the Bills. Those are games that you could theoretically see the Jets end up like 3-1 in. We've already beat Buffalo, and that was when they had Trey White and when they had Matt Milano. They don't have either one of those guys. They seem to be reeling right now. Not that the Jets are doing anything special. You got to score points in order to beat these guys. And look, we haven't played Miami, but the second Miami game, there's a good shot that you have Rodgers back for if all this timeline stuff works out to be correct. I'm hearing rumors that the Jets may end up getting flexed into the December 11th Monday night game because the Giants and Packers are currently playing on Monday night. And if you were to flex the Giants out of the Monday night spot, they would have to go back into Sunday. And the Jets are currently at home at MetLife on Sunday. So you'd have to flip-flop those 2 games, which means the Jets would be playing the Texans on December 11th, which would be another primetime game. I'm kind of tapped out on the embarrassing primetime game type stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit exciting from like we finally have some recognition, but it's just not the right kind of recognition. I mean, if Rodgers is coming back and that's where his debut is going to be on a Monday night stage, I just hope he's fully healthy and I hope we can like actually have some sort of a season to salvage. So guys, let me know. What do you think about Jeremy Ruckert getting some more reps? What do you think about the additional comments we heard about the Michael Carter release? And how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers coming back this season? Do you want to risk 2024 or do you think this season there's enough left in the tank? There's championship caliber defense, cannot be wasted. You got to bring back Rodgers when he's ready to play. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.